So today's video is going to be a little different because really and truly I don't understand why this even happens. So I'm going to cue the intro right now, but stay tuned to figure out why. If you're new to the channel, check out the rest of my videos, and thank you for tuning in. Alright, back to what I was saying. I don't understand why people get animals and don't know how to care for them or to even know what their quality of life is. Like, I'm in this Facebook group and scrolling through, I saw this one person that had a ball python, right? And I'm like, okay. First of all, this ball python was in pretty much a substrate with water, no hide, and they were just in a box with no heating system. So I texted the person, I'm like, hey, is that your actual ball python? And they're like, oh no, it's my friend. He got it. He had it for like 6 months now, and it's not eating, so he just has it in that. And I'm like, is this enclosure always like that? He's like, oh yeah, it's like that. It's pretty normal. Pretty normal? What? How can you have an animal and not know how to care for it? Like, what? You literally have a ball python sitting in complete water saying that's normal. That makes no sense. So I was like, hey, can you send me the information of the guy so I can try to reach out? So trying to reach this guy out, trying to hit him up. 2 days later, I got a response through the Facebook Messenger, right? He's like, oh, what's up? I'm like, is that your ball python? He's like, yeah, man. I'm gonna try to go into the ball python thing, but I don't know how it's working out because I don't understand these animals, to be honest. Okay, there's a lot of YouTube channels. There's a lot of forums, a lot of pages on the webpage. You literally just type it and search it up. And he's like, oh yeah, but we're getting in the way and I don't have the time. And I'm like, why do you get a pet? Try to care for it. If ultimately you know you're not going to have the time for it, why not pass it on to someone else to take ownership over it, or just really and truly buckle down and try to take care of the pet yourself because you technically have it, right? So, me being the person I am, I start getting heated, right? And he's like, oh, well, start swearing and all this other shit and all this stuff, right? And I'm like, hey, look, how about this? How about I try and take the ball python off your hands, right? He's gonna be like, no, I know what the fuck I'm doing, XYX. Didn't hear from him again. So I went back and I contacted the friend and I'm like, hey, how about I try to get it through you from him? And he's like, no, he's pissed off because he knows you and XYZ. And I'm like, well, technically it doesn't have to be me that come for the animal, because really and truly he just told me he doesn't care for the pet, XYZ. And I'm like, really and truly I need to get this pet, right? So waiting on it right now, he just posted another picture and I'm like, dude, is this dude literally trying to torture this animal? Which I don't understand what Facebook criteria or whatever it is. I'm not even gonna get into that. But pretty much this person is neglecting this animal. Like, it's straight neglect. Not knowing how to care for it, not knowing how to even go about raising the animal. Like, this is what I'm trying to say to everyone that even watches to this part of the video. If you're getting any pet at all, know how to take care of the pet. One, know what they eat, what their cycle is, what their sleep is, all that. Like, you have to know what the pet that you're getting, living quality of life is. Like, what's its requirements, what it needs to be, etc. Secondly, if you know that, yes, and you get it, don't treat the animal a certain way or neglect it because it's an inconvenience for you. If that's the case, there are many places that want to adopt or rehome. There's many things and places and shelters out there for any sort of animal. Anything out there. There is. Just look it up. You can always get an animal, and if it's inconvenient for you, just pass it on to someone else that's gonna show that pet the love and nurture it needs. Like, don't get something and because it's inconvenient, you just have it there. Like, I don't understand how someone can go about just being okay with that. That to me makes no sense. It makes no sense to me at all. Like, for me, I'm trying to get into the reptile community more, etc. Right? But seeing something like that on Facebook, which is a big open forum, I don't understand how that's even like being promoted. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how someone can just be like, yeah, I'm just post this and I don't care. Like, try to look up how to invest in that animal, like how to care for that animal, like something like that. Like, man, I don't understand. All I can say is, if you get any animal at all, anything, know what it eats, how it sleeps, how it poops, what helps it to poop, what it needs to take food. Like, for ball pythons, some of them, are any snakes at all, they need scents. For certain lizards, they like to be active during the night than the day. Like, look up your animal and know your animal. So if you're investing in an animal, like, look up how to care for that animal, not just get it and be like, oh fuck, what do I do? And the next thing too, don't get an animal if you don't have an initial setup for it. Like, don't get it and have it and then be like, oh shit, I didn't know I needed this or this for this animal. Like, make sure you know what you're getting the animal and how they need to be cared for the best quality of the life. Like, really and truly, just try to understand what the animal needs. For example, I adopted this beautiful girl, this albino pastel, from someone, and when I got her, it wasn't in the best care. Like, she's still a bit underweight. Like, I haven't had her for too long, but really and truly, she was not having the best care of life. Like, her cage had a bunch of poop in it that should have been cleaned out. Her water bowl was way too small for her, like way too small. And her heating pad, when that came with the cage that I got her in, didn't even work. So she literally had no heat to thermoregulate. And I don't understand when I texted the person that had her before and I was like, hey, do you know that their heating pad wasn't working? They're like, oh, it's just normal. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. What? That should be a constant thing so the animal can have the time to thermoregulate. Like, it being cold and then it being hot now and then is not consistent, because that can really damage, especially a ball python internally, as it doesn't have the chance to thermoregulate. For instance, what if this girl ate and there's no heat for her to break down the food? She would literally perish because there is no heat to help her break down her food. Like, that's just a big example. And really and truly, I'm glad I got to rehome and keep this girl, because she's much better now. When I got her, she wasn't moving. She wasn't active at all. Now she's more like adventurous and moving about. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, if you have an animal, just try to find the best quality of life by looking up what that animal needs. Because if you have an animal and don't know how to care for it, how are you going to give it the best quality of their life? It's just going to ultimately perish. But yeah, I just want to push this out there and try to show people that, hey, you can always pass your animal on to someone. Like, you don't have to have the animal perish under you because you don't have the time to care for it anymore. Like, there are groups out there and stuff like that to help you pass on your pet to the best caretaker there is. And if you're getting a new pet, please, 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 please look how to care for that animal, all what it needs and everything. And another thing too, when you get a new pet that has been neglected or wasn't having the best quality of their life, give it time to adjust. It's not gonna come overnight. It's not gonna be fast. Just give it time, work with that animal, get its trust back and all that. And over time, you will love that animal, and that animal will also love you, because really and truly, it's the best thing you can give to any animal out there. As the best quality of life is what you're trying to get for your animal, as that is the best thing you can bring for an animal, because it's not in its natural habitat anymore. It's under your care. So try to invest time in knowing how the animal needs to be raised and needs its nutrients and all that. Because really and truly, you having an animal when it's not in its natural habitat, it needs to be able to strive under your care. And yeah, really and truly, that's all I have for this video. I just really want to push this information out there, because really and truly, going on many pages and just browsing through, it really breaks my heart knowing that there really are caretakers out there that's not really showing any care, but just have their animals being neglected and just up in the air because it's inconvenient for them. If it's inconvenient for you, there are many people out there that actually want these animals, and it's just best to have them passed on to someone else than just have them perish in the long run. And thank you for tuning in. Peace out.